Are sketching for that hand wheel. But take note that I'm leaving it, I'm not, the drawing shows you a center line for that hand wheel path.
Mhm.
It won't work. It's gotta be solid line. So there's my path for the spoke. And I'm gonna leave it just like it is and say, okay, that's what I got. Okay, now I wanna put that tombstone, profile, I wanna put that profile right on the end of my path. Just like my vase was. When you saw the vase, remember the path came up from the origin, and then the circular profile was right on top, on the top plane, right where the line met the top plane. So it was right there. I mean, it was built on that origin, but sometimes you can't afford to, you can't do that. I mean, you're trying to work in 3D, so my origin is over here now. Let me go ahead and display it. So that's where my origin is, which also means that's where my planes are, right? That's where my planes are. So how am I gonna draw on this guy out here? Well, here's how I do it. I don't have to take anything yet, but in the feature tab, all the way to the right pretty much is this command for reference geometry. And in there is a plane command, and it's a reference plane. So when I look at the feature, or the property manager, it tells me it wants some references. So I need to give it some references, and what it wants here is a face or a plane or something like that to begin with. So I'm going to pick the right plane. See, it likes that, and it's already doing something here. It's adding another plane that's probably 1/10 of an inch away from the right plane right now. But I don't want it there. I want it out here at the end of this thing. So for my second reference, I just pick this end point. And bingo, it puts a plane out there. See that? So now I have another plane out there that I can draw on. So I'm gonna sketch on that guy. I'm gonna turn off those planes so I can see this guy. I wanna go normal to him. And so now I'm gonna draw my tombstone guy. I'm not gonna dimension them. But I gotta get them over here somehow, right? Maybe I should dimension them, because when it moves, it might change things. I don't know what the dimensions are. I don't even know how close my,
12 and 4 radius.
yeah, that's okay. I'm just gonna leave it like it is, because they're metric, aren't they?
Mhm.
And I think I'm in an inch drawing, so I'm just gonna
Right.
leave it like it is. It looks close, from a perspective point of view. So I need to get this guy over onto this point right here. So, once again, we're talking about relations, sketch relations, because we're in a sketch. I can pick the line or the endpoints of this sketch that I'm not working in. I still have that ability. So if I pick this endpoint, and then I pick this, hold down control and pick the center of this radius. Well, for some reason I'm in a dimension, sorry about that. I'm in a dimension command. If I pick those 2 points, I should get, oh, not the point, I'm sorry. if I pick the line and this point right here, I get a relation that says pierce. What that's gonna do is that's gonna take and move my tombstone and pierce it with the line. But it's gonna use the end point of that line. So if I add that relationship, the pierce relationship, see what it did? Put it right on the end point of that line. On that plane. Right, remember the plane is infinite. I can draw anywhere on it and do an extrusion of some sort. I wouldn't even have to do that. I could have left this out here, and I probably could have done a, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna undo that and see what happens. But now I've got my profile pierced onto my sketch, and once I'm done and close that out, I can go ahead and use my, my sweep command. And see, it's already, because I had this sketch highlighted, it already picked it as my profile. Now I just have to pick the path. And there's my spoke. What do you think?
That's pretty cool.
Okay, so let's see if let's see if my theory in my head works. Oh, wrong one. Works the way I think it's gonna work. Can I undo my, there. So I want that guy right there. And now I'm gonna do my sweep and say, I'm gonna pick this as my profile, and this is my path. And see, it swept it anyway. Still swept it right along that path. It just did it where my profile existed. So if you look at it at normal too, you'll, well, I don't think you see the sketch now. But the top of the sketch should be there, you can see the sketch. So you can see it still followed the sketch, it just followed it from the point that it existed. Well, obviously, if I want it to be in the center of the hub that I just made, and I drew this coming out of the center of the hub, because I started at the origin, and I know the origin is in the center of the hub. That's where my profile is going to go. It's going to run right through the center of that sketch, based on where I was attached to it. Did I muddy it up by doing that? No. Okay, hopefully not. So if I go back to the line, control, center of that radius, pierce it again, and say okay, and okay on the sketch, then I'm right back where I was. So the sketch runs right through, it actually runs right here, because I pierced it at the center of if you were to see that sketch, there it is. If I show that sketch, maybe tangent lines removed. Now you can see the sketch in there. So that comes into play then when you do the rim, because now the rim gets attached right to that end point right there. So the rim, if I do that, I can sketch it on the front plane. Well, normal too, just sketch a circle here. Whatever the size of that thing is, I don't remember, I don't know obviously, but I should be able to do a revolve just based on that. And just tell it my axis of revolution is, this thing right here. I may have to add, actually, I may not, because I don't have a circular piece in here, it may not go for me. Can't pick the point. It won't go for me, because I don't have an axis there. Even if I turn the axes on, there's no axis there because, there's nothing circular. See, the only axes that are shown are the ones for these radiuses. So I can't sweep it for it, or revolve it for it, but that's what basically you would do, is, just pick the inside or the outside even of the hub, and that should work.
Can you add a point on the origin?
That point still won't do it. It's gotta be something circular,
Oh.
or the axis of something circular. It doesn't matter, because when you do the hand wheel, you're gonna have what you need. So, again, I don't wanna muddy it up. So there you go. That's how you do this poke.